Spurs OKC game?
You said what?
The Spurs OKC game. What do you think when you were watching that go to 2 overtimes yesterday?
It's what basketball's about now. It's high talent, pretty crazy games, individual performances that are kind of moving the needle, so it's fun to watch as a fan too.
What impressed you more, 56 for Demarcus or 24 assists for Russ?
They're both pretty crazy. Yeah, they're both pretty crazy.
How's it feeling right now with Boogie coming back as your third on the fast and seeing the work that he's done to get to this point?
It's exciting. I can't imagine what he's gone through, not only physically but just mentally. The long year of rehab, being around our team, since the summer, understanding that this day was going to come, not really knowing when it was going to happen, but when you're around this environment and kind of the buzz and just the amount of attention and the atmosphere we play in every night, and having to watch, I know that's tough, and hopefully you continue to motivate him to stick with his rehab routine and getting ready to play. And now that the light's at the end of the tunnel, he can see it. It's got to be exciting for him just to get back out there on the floor and compete and help us, win basketball games. So there's a nice little buzz for sure. Practice the locker room, knowing next week he'll be back, but we got some work to take care of before then.
I feel like it's the right time for the year for him to come back as far as where you guys are at, right in the middle, before the All-Star break, and maybe things get a little dry.
Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the year, breaking the season down into quarters, if you will, and we're in the third one now, so the regular season, third quarter of it, and haven't played great, consistently great, and this was obviously, again, not knowing when it was going to happen. This was an opportunity for us to kind of shock the system a little bit, understand what it's going to mean to have Demarcus in the rotation, figure out how we're going to play, with him on the floor. And we want to string some games together where we put a nice little win streak together. We've talked about it a couple of times, but we haven't been able to do it. So why not now?
I think you're like three-pointers from passing Jason Terry for third. Do you ever just sit back and think, is it crazy that it's only 10 years into your career and you're already there?
I don't think about it that much. I just still think about it in terms of the names that I'm chasing. I got the numbers mixed up in Sacramento and thought that I had I knew I caught Kyle. I thought I caught Jason, and it was in the top three with with Reggie and Ray. I wanted to keep the game ball from that game just because of growing up. Like, those two guys were the metric for three-point shooting, and I paid so close attention to when Ray was chasing Reggie in that whole race. I remember the game when he finally passed and Reggie was on the sideline commentating the game, and he walked over and shook his hand. Like, that moment was special for guys that love to shoot the basketball. So for me to be close to right there with my name next to those two guys in terms of three-point shooting, I wanted to kind of remember that moment, even though it didn't happen. Yeah. So for me to be that close is special. And again, the longevity of what those numbers mean, I want to continue to chase it.
It'll be my first time tonight going to Oracle. What's the atmosphere like for you?
It's special. We have the best fans, the most loyal fans. I think in terms of just expecting greatness every night and understanding the run we've been on. It's just an electric atmosphere for sure. So we're going to give them something to cheer about every night.
How will the vibe change, if it will change, when you guys move?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I know the venue will be obviously better, state of the art. I'm sure our fans from the East Bay will travel to San Francisco to show up at the Chase Center and whatnot. But I'm not sure how different the vibe will be. It'll be brand new. It'll be brand new. It'll be a new atmosphere in terms of just kind of that first month or two will be weird, just being in a different building as the home team.
So how did you guys try to make Demarcus feel welcome to that?
Just being ourselves, to be honest. I mean, a lot of us have had experience with him throughout our league days with playing Team USA stuff or summer workouts or all that type of stuff. So you really just make him feel included in terms of when you see him doing rehab and stuff, check in on him, because obviously the schedule's a little different in terms of what he was doing early in the year versus our practice schedule and game schedule and all that type of stuff. But he's done a great job himself of staying plugged in. Like, it would be easy for a guy in his situation to just march to the beat of your own drum and only worry about what you got going on. But the fact he's on the bench every game, he's talking to the young guys, he's present in the locker room. That's a willingness on his side to stay engaged mentally in the process, so that hopefully that transition will be a lot smoother for him, with all the time that he's missed.
What did it mean for you to pass a guy like Kyle Korver, a guy I know you have a lot of respect for?
Yeah, definitely. In terms of his name always pops up in those best shooter in the league conversations, and knowing that's his his skill set when he's on the floor, it's still hard to take it away from him. So, all those names up there, for whatever reason, from my experience of being a fan of the league, competing against those guys, whatever the case is, they push the needle for sure. For guys like myself and the guys coming up to kind of chase those numbers, so closing in is pretty special.
Sorry to go off.
I was going to say, we were talking about the other night in Sacramento, as far as the three-point shooting goes from a broader standpoint. How sustainable do you think it is for the league to have teams just running up and down the floor shooting all the time like it seems like they are the last couple of years?
If you got the talent to do it, do it. I mean, I think in terms of just a shift in perspective, like what guys are working on and how they're trying to get better, expand their game, how teams are putting together lineups on the floor that highlight the three-point shot. You try to just shoot high percentages. That's the biggest thing. If you're just out there slinging and shooting 20% every night, that's no fun to watch. But in terms of talent and skill set showing up and how you create those three-point shots and guys knocking them down at a high percentage and it producing wins, like that, for me, has been a huge part of my game. Will continue to be a huge part of my game from the team perspective. I'm sure to continue to shift in that direction. The sustainability of it, who knows? I'm sure nobody really could predict this, but every era is a little different.
Kevin, go off topic, but what makes NBA players and coaches unafraid to delve into politics? When you guys feel strongly about something, other guys in other leagues seem more hesitant to do it.
Mainly just understanding the platform you have and being aware and cognizant of how far-reaching your voice could be in terms of speaking for those that can't speak for themselves, or highlighting an issue that's important to you. And in terms of like this league, we have guys all around the league, and even from Adam Silver on down, that encourage you to be knowledgeable and educated about what you're talking about, respectful, but unashamed again to speak about on those type of topics. And I think we support each other in that effort, which people want to hear what we have to say. It's wild how headlines pop up and coverage is shifted here and there based on something that we say into a microphone, and that's huge. We respect that opportunity and the value of what that means.
Kevin said something, kind of going back to the 3-point. Kevin said something after the Sacramento game where he seemed to think that this, I'll say the infatuation with the 3-point shot, the way the league has been going following you guys, will fade away. Has he said anything to that effect with you guys? That he thinks that the
he comes into the locker room every morning and he's like, guys, stop shooting so many damn threes. Sick now.
What do you think about his assertion that it's a fad, or that it'll go back to
again?
It used to be?
Guys that shoot the ball well will continue to shoot it. When it doesn't reap benefits or the results don't show up, then that's when things might change. But can't really predict how stuff's going to happen. But in terms of again how guys from a younger age are working on shooting the basketball. The perspective of how they can use that as a weapon in their own game materializes every year. It's obviously trending in a certain direction, so you want to celebrate guys that can do it well, and teams that can do it well. And it'll show at the end of the year in the playoffs when if a team wants to come out and shoot 63s and they're making 10 of them, and they're losing, they probably might shift it up a little bit, or switch it up a little bit. But in terms of like creating open threes, shooting at a high percentage, kind of how we play, it's obviously proved successful.